Sports, the Vicksburg Post video preview show for the 2014 season. Alongside Corey Gunkel, I'm sports writer Ernest Boker, and we're going to just take you through some of the action this Friday night. Before we get to the main event, the 2014 Red Carpet Bowl, let's hit the other team that's going to be in town this week, St. Aloysius.
Absolutely.
They're coming off their best season in 30 years, made it to the Class 1A semifinals last year. They're taking on arch rival Cathedral, so it's a big game to start off with, and anytime you get a rivalry going, it's a huge matchup.
Absolutely. They're not in the Red Carpet Bowl, but there's going to be a lot of excitement surrounding that game, playing a rival. And, we were talking a little bit earlier before this that games are won in the trenches, and St. Al is a team that returns a lot of offensive and defensive line starters.
Right, pretty much all of them. They got 5 back, 4-year starters, Drake Dorbeck, 6'6", 315, sophomore guy named Ben Brown's almost the same size. Bash Brown, their center, also a 4-year starter. Everybody's multiple-year starters. And when you got that, plus a guy who started about 25 games at quarterback, Connor Smith, who was our Vicksburg Post Player of the Year last year on the offensive side, they should be in for a great year. Hard to say if they're going to win this one or not. Cathedral's a very good team. But how this game turns out, I don't think is going to necessarily, if they lose, it will not indicate how the year is going to go for them.
Right, and I mean, especially considering the offensive production they lost at running back last year, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how that offense translates onto the field in 2014. But like you said, no matter what happens in this game, St. Al still has a great shot to attain a playoff dream again.
Right, they should at least make the playoffs, I would think, and they certainly have a chance to go far once they get there.
Absolutely.
And shifting gears now to the main event and what is going to literally be the hottest game in town, the Red Carpet Bowl. Starting under a 3:30 afternoon sun, Porter's Chapel and Union Christian, followed by Warren Central and Terry. Vicksburg Macomb wrapped it up starting about 8:30 or so. Let's start with Porter's Chapel. Not a lot of numbers out for them, but certainly a good starting point against a team that really has struggled over the years.
Right. This will be history in the making that we'll get to witness here at 3:30 with Porter's Chapel playing in the Red Carpet Bowl for the first time ever. And like you said, it's going to be hot. It's going to be really hot, close to 100 degrees. But I talked to Coach Wayne Lynch. He said that his team's prepared in the heat for it all week. And they had a lot of fall camp leading up to this in the heat, so I think they're going to be ready for it.
Right. There's a big difference, though, between getting out there even in shorts or even in pads and actually getting out there in full uniform, standing on the sideline for 2-3 hours and having to run around, sub in, sub out, and there's nowhere to hide out at Memorial Stadium. It's just open. So, like you said, it's going to be about 95 or 100 at 3:30. The fans will have it even worse. They're going to be sitting on the metal bleachers. So if you're going to the game, bring water, get water at the concession stand, bring an umbrella, find some way, for the love of all that's holy. Please take care of yourself out there.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to see PCA's offense. They're switching to a no huddle. They won't be running no huddle all the time, but in certain situations they will be. We'll see if QB Zach Morgan can take over for Jonah Masterson, who set a lot of records there for the Eagles in the past 3 or 4 years that he was there. So the offense will be key, I think, in beating Union Christian.
And the second game of the Red Carpet Bowl is Warren Central taking on Terry. It'll start about 6 o'clock, depending on how fast Porter's Chapel can take care of business in their opener. Warren Central coming off their best year in about 10 years, won 8 games last year, made the playoffs, lost to Tupelo in the first round, the heartbreaker. But they got about 5 or 6 starters, I believe, on defense coming back from a unit that was the best in the state, points given statistically. So anytime you got a unit like that, you're going to be in a lot of games, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the best linebacking cores in the state, I would say. And then you've got a corner in Chris Stamps, who's already getting big-time offers, who is verbally committed to Mississippi State, but is still getting offers from big schools. I really think that Warren Central's defense is going to define their season this year, and especially this Friday against Terry.
Yeah, they do have one big hole. They lost all 4 of their starting defensive linemen. All of them have played junior college ball, or one of them, Devon Stamps, walked on Mississippi State. So, but from talking to their coaches, they say that that's actually going to be one of their strengths. They feel like they have a lot more depth this year than they had last year. So if those guys can come around, and with the help that they got behind them, I think they're going to be in really, really good shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Warren Central, one other little note, they have a little bit of a scheduling oddity here. The first 6 teams that they play are completely foreign to them. They've all had coaching changes, including Terry. So they're kind of going in blind in this one. That's kind of a tough thing to deal with.
It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah. And for the finale of our Week 1 preview, we'll talk about Vicksburg and their Red Carpet Bowl game against Macomb, again, starting approximately about 8:15, 8:30, depending on how fast the other games move. And if you're a fan of the punting game, you might want to stay home for this one, because Vicksburg is changing things up this year.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Marcus Rogers a couple of days ago, and he said that if the ball is not inside the 25-yard line and it's not 4th and 6 or longer, they're not punting. So he's tried to establish that within the locker room and made that a mindset of the offense that, hey, you're going to be the guys that are going to go out and score touchdowns, and we're not going to give the ball away.
Right. And Vicksburg had a pretty good offense last year, very well balanced, about 1,500 yards rushing, 1,600 passing. So I think this year you've said that, and Coach Rogers has said that they're going to throw the ball a lot more than they did last year.
Yeah, Coach Rogers talked a lot about the fun and gun. He wants to bring a spread. They had a jamboree last week, and he said they were mainly lining up in trip sets and empty sets. He really wants to air the ball out, and I think you'll see a switch from the run-heavy teams of old from Vicksburg.
Right. And their defense too has been a very weak spot the last 4 or 5 years. Even in their best years, they're still giving up 20-something points a game. So, but this year, talking to the coaches, they feel like their defense is really good. Keith and Hargo, linebacker, last year moved to defensive tackle. Some other fellows. What's the sense you're getting on their defense?
I think the defense will be markedly improved from last year. I think it's going to be an underrated unit for Vicksburg. They may not, hold opponents to 11 points a game or anything, but I think that secondary is underrated, and I think that the defense will actually be pretty good for Vicksburg this year.
That'll do it for us for this week, and thank you for watching High School Lowdown. To keep up on all the happenings in the sports world in Vicksburg, check out VicksburgPost.com and follow us on Twitter at VixPostSports. That's VIX Post Sports. Until next time, for Corey Gunkel, I'm Ernest Boga. We'll see you